Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bog Panda. Tonight, we're going to talk about a new homebrew game for the Amico. Just kidding, just for the regular Intellivision, because there isn't even homebrew games for the Amico. I'm Dr. Mike at Official Pagan on everything, and joining me, as always,
Hi, everybody. This is Kelly at KELLYTHUL on social media. Do Mike and I a solid and subscribe to the Bog Panda YouTube channel. Do us a second solid by hitting that bell so when you're notified to hear such solid content as Hard No, the world's shortest podcast, available on a playlist, no extra charge. Enjoy that. Extra charges for merchandise, but they're available too on our store. Take a look at those.
excellent. And I like you guys should be doing all those solids for us, just rock hard. But tonight we're here to talk about Ghostbusters. We've talked about Ghostbusters games a little bit on here. Now that we've been reviewing individual games, I guess we do need to get around to doing a proper review of a Ghostbusters game since it has worked its way into the fold quite a few times. But this is actually a homebrew game for Intellivision. It's a port of the classic Ghostbusters game that we got the awesome, amazing magic version on Commodore 64 that carries your stats over and things like that. And then, increasingly less magical ports of it to the various 8-bit systems, which I really don't mind. I know a lot of people hate, particularly the Nintendo one. I had fun with it as a kid, but I mean, yeah, it's a big step down from the Commodore 64 version. But we get a port of that basic structure. But this is a homebrew, and they made a physical cartridge, 3D printed the physical cartridge, looks amazing, lights up when you plug it in. I mean, this is kind of a crazy thing for a homebrew kind of project. I came across a video of it, had to send it to Kelly right away. What were your thoughts on this, sir?
So I thought it was really cool. I don't have an Intellivision cartridge playing device available to me, so I went to Market Plus. This is not only homebrew but like limited run, like real limited run. So I think you go to the website. We'll include a link to it. It's it's a inty-home, which is a actually Italian website that 50% of the sites in English, 50% sites in Italian. But the power of a browser with Translate, you can get through the site without a problem. So I didn't see much indication of it there anymore, but this video is worth a look because it is. They've done a heck of a job. I love the case idea. I think it's really, you've got kind of the 3D ghost coming out and it lights up. It's just fantastic. It looks like a really nice setup of stuff. The gameplay looks solid for it. As you mentioned, the 64 version's strong in terms of kind of capabilities. I was shocked to find out that there was a Atari 2600 version of the game that doesn't suck. I'm used to seeing Halloween and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they're just train wrecks of the game. Maybe this little thing called ET. Most of the ones that have been kind of licensed have not been particularly impressive, but the Ghostbusters one, while falls way short of the capabilities of the Commodore 64 or the Intellivision, was darn respectable for a 2600 game, I thought.
Yeah, I've never played the 2600 game. I will have to give it a shot though. Again, I had it for NES. I know that that's not a beloved game by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think it's as bad as the reputation that it gets, though. I mean, it's doing what it can based on the C64 game for the hardware and what they actually have available to them. And I'm sure it was a very truncated schedule making something like that. I think, licensed games do get a bad rap. And I don't think it's necessarily because it's not a good idea to do that. It's just that usually they're rushing a product out to make it coincide with the movie or whatever it's tied into. So they're usually just not getting the proper development time. And in extreme cases like ET, none. They just don't finish it and just put out a broken, unfinished thing. So I don't think these games are inherently bad. But what did you think about the 3D printed cartridge? That was really the thing that got me.
Yeah, no, I super impressed, and what a neat opportunity to kind of carry that forward into kind of some other cartridge systems as well. And I've got to imagine the 3D models are out there for the various cartridge cases. Matter of fact, just did a show recently that my guess is one or two of those sites that we shared would get you to something where you could print those shells. I loved it. I thought it was just fantastic. And I originally, when he said, "Oh, you got to put it in the case. It's not in the case to begin with, or the back's not on," and I was like, "What's up with that?" And then as it came together, I was like, "That's actually very, very cool."
Yeah, now, so you know a lot more about the 3D printing than me. Is there a benefit to shipping it that way where you had to kind of snap it together?
Um, I don't, I don't think so. If it was kind of appropriately padded, um, I don't think it would have been a problem. But then again, we worked together and got that case for you for your disk drive, and I didn't send that assembled. And so since you don't necessarily know what the journey's going to be like when something gets mailed, even if you protect it, probably in pieces is a better way to go, just so it doesn't, because it has the potential to get broken. And we talked a little bit about it also on the previous show on 3D printing. Is that my hunch is, as clear as that case was and how well it kind of let the light go through it, that's going to be one of those ones that was a resin-based 3D print, I think, versus the FDM type of filament print, because really you're not going to get clear with the filament print type of thing. But yeah, I'm going to guess probably just out of an abundance of caution, it went unassembled, and maybe it was a little easier to pack. I don't know.
Makes sense. And the packaging itself, the box that it came in with the printed overlays and things like that, because Intellivision did use overlays like some of those early Atari 2600 games and even Jaguar games that used overlays. Are you an overlay guy at all?
Talking joystick overlay,
Yeah,
because we can go back to the Odyssey days, and it can be television screen
that's
overlay,
true. That's true.
and I'm not a television over screen. So yeah, I think given not maybe gifted the most with a strong memory, anything that can kind of help remind me, say, "Oh, that's fire," or "Oh, that's strafe." That's a handy little tip. So I think it's kind of a neat add-on to do if it's kind of executed right on how you can connect it to the controller and use it. It's the only downside I see is it's one more thing you can lose when and try and track time. I thought it was pretty cool they had it. So are you a overlay guy?
So I don't have a ton of experience with them because just like you said, those are things that get lost or destroyed pretty quickly. And they're just small, thin cardboard most of the time or thin, plastic of some sort. So I don't have a ton of experience with it. A few games I remember playing with overlays. Um, they weren't games that necessarily benefited from it though. It was more for show kind of thing. One that I kind of wish I had the opportunity to play with the overlays would be Jaguar Doom, which unfortunately is a game I didn't play on original hardware when it came out, something that, later on emulators, totally legal, I got to try out. That had overlays. And what's cool about Jaguar Doom is for the first time, instead of cycling through your weapons, because there was 8,000 buttons on the Jaguar controller, you had a button assigned to every single possible weapon. So the overlay just kind of showed you what weapons that was. So that as a quick reference thing would be really cool. Again, maybe not the best form factor to start with, but it's making the best use out of that form factor that already existed.
Yeah, but I highly recommend you folks check out this video because it's really cool. As Mike was talking about, just the packaging of it's really well done. Um, the the cartridge super creative. The other goodies you get with it are fantastic. So it looks great. Uh, I don't think it's probably something you're going to be able to purchase because I think it was an incredibly little limited run. But you will get over to that inty-home website, and they have other homebrew games there as well. Also, the YouTube channel we're sharing this from, he has a number of homebrew games that he's created that you can navigate to through descriptions and such. So, a couple good places to check out. Super reasonably priced as well. So check those out. But the on the inty-home site, they had a Star Wars one that looks like it might be a little bit Ewok centric, which I thought would speak to you, and James Bond one, which was didn't appear to have any Ewoks in it, but looked pretty good too.
that we know of.
Yeah, hard to tell.
So if you were to do a homebrew game based on an IP, something totally unofficial, what do you think you'd go with?
Oh, Monster Dog, 100%, because it's just such a fantastic movie.
Stealing my response.
So many, so many unanswered questions. Um, I this is one of those things you throw those questions out. I don't have time to think through them, so folks, you got to watch my thought process online. I think an Army of Darkness one would be pretty fun. You got some Army of the Dead stuff. You can have a level with the little ashes and the big ash and that kind of stuff would be pretty cool. The big car at the end with the windmill blades on the front. I think it could be pretty fun. But I might do it in 2600, so you probably couldn't tell what any of those things were. Mike, what would you do from an IP perspective?
Actually, kind of in the same vein. So there's a ton of Evil Dead video games, dating back to let's see, Commodore 64 might have been the first one when it came, and not like a current Commodore 64 game, like a when the movie came out Commodore 64 game. Um, so Evil Dead's always been, as a franchise, kind of tied in different video games. And in my experience, most of them have been good. But when I go back and play like the really retro ones, like Commodore 64 and stuff, I'm not going to say they're not fun, but it doesn't exactly deliver what I want in a retro gaming experience. So I do feel like there's room for somebody to go back now and do a retro style game of Evil Dead, of any of the films.
Yep. Yep. So we can, in the Bog Panda Media, do do multiple ones, and then of course we'll have a version for the Bog Boy as well. As
I mean, I feel like that's what it ultimately has to build towards.
all properties will make their way. The Dr. Mike game will make it to the Bog Boy. Mike's crappy, basic punch junk carrot bullcrap that'll make it there begrudgingly. So we'll get all our properties there once the R&D completes on the Bog Boy.
Speaking of which, I hear there's a third game in that series in development.
Wow. And I bet you that's quite the development cycle for those games. So, well, let's just keep our fingers crossed that it comes out soon. And there might be, based on that piece of information, I think development has just started on a second Dr. Mike game. So we'll get cranking on that as well. All right. Anything else, sir, on Intellivision's Ghostbusters homebrew?
No, that's it. You guys should definitely go and check out the video. I think it's really cool. I mean, I would love to see more things done like this. Not just the homebrew thing, but people using 3D printers and things to make really cool cartridge cases and stuff like that. We've looked at actual shells for, handheld games and things like that. But cartridges, that's a really cool idea for things. Who knows if we do physical copies of some of Kelly and I's games at some point in the future, maybe we can do a special, 3D print it for, $1,000 Patreon requests or something.
Yeah. It well, it'll be um, that's a great idea. We'll see how it goes. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bog Panda.